It's time for lesson number 7, and I'm going to start this lesson a little differently. I'd like to accept this Buddha award. This is the Buddha of Fearlessness, and I'd like to dedicate this award to the people who laughed at me when I took up the Shakuhachi. Don't be afraid, and you may not have the encouragement, or you may be in a wonderful, supportive environment, but either way, you can play the Shakuhachi if you want to. And let me tell you about the tuition. It's free. This flute, under $200, it's made out of plastic. And so with that little introduction, let's go on to the lesson number 7. If you like this, maybe poke around and see some of the other lessons. That seems easy, but it's actually not that easy. If you partially cover the whole, and for those Chu-meris, those middle meris, the problem is, you're going to get that pitch right. Here's a Su. And now, it's a little weaker too, so I may have to give it some more air. If you are going from a re, when you come down for that Su, you're coming down with this finger, plus half of that second, the next one down, and you've got to hit it exactly right. And that's where the practice comes in. So now, let's just say you've got all the holes closed, the row, and you're going to come up to the Su Chu-meri. You have to roll that finger up, just the right amount too. And then there's the octave changes. And now onto the first piece. This piece here starts with a upbeat, so there's a circle, and that's the lead in. And so that's a Chu-meri. So the trick is coming down with 1.5 holes, or maybe in my case 1 1/3 holes, to get that pitch. You've got to tune it by ear. But remember that Chu-meri, half a step down, and then the next, this is a regular meri, which is the next half a step down, and then row. So these are those increments. So for this piece here, we don't need those full meris. A full meri is where your head is, well, way down like this. Once again. So you'll have to use your ear to try to tune for that. And maybe don't worry about so much the pitch in the beginning, and play the piece a lot, and it'll fall into place. In this piece here, there's the problem of a Su Chu-meri in the upper octave, and then the re, and then back to the high octave, and then to the low octave, re. And if you're learning the Shakuhachi, as you know, you don't always get that high octave on command. So what you want to do is maybe practice and when you get all of them, then you're on your way. But still, when you play these pieces, don't interrupt, just kind of keep going to the end. So I'm going to play this piece now, and there's another thing that I guess I should mention here. There's another half step, the re Chu-meri. It's the same thing happening, whereas I'm covering this top hole, the number 4 hole, It's 4 in the front, 1 in the back is 5. So I'm covering it partially. And of course, there is another note, the real Meri. Here it comes. And then Chi. And from the side, notice that only in that real Meri is your head down, a full Meri. And take a look at my posture. My back is erect and the flute is not out here. You'll see people play like that. That's wrong, that's bad style. I mean, it looks dramatic, but that's not elegant. Keep in mind that when you move your head in, your chin in, the flute is rocking. See what's rocking? Right about here. That's good form. And another thing to keep in mind, in the West, the fingers always stay close to your woodwind, but for the shakuhachi, if your fingers were close, as you were shading and moving them around, it would color the tone and darken the tone and throw the pitch off. So you really have to have your hands in a way that your fingers are flying out there in space. See how far that finger is out. So this is good form. And another thing to practice is you got the low octave coming, you got the high octave. That transition between the low octave and the high octave is the re and the ro. Now when I was starting, I had a lot of trouble getting that high octave, and I tried blowing harder and it popped up to the high octave, and that's one way to, but after a while you find out that your lips can do it. So the re's and the ro's always go together. It's indication that you're going up to the high octave, and maybe you know some of this stuff already, and go back to some of the lessons and just look around the internet in general. You'll see that the high octave and a low octave blend very smoothly on this instrument, but it takes a little practice. I'm doing it by bringing my lips closer together. And remember, when you get to the end, try to fade that last note out nicely. Oh, there's a swell. You see, that kind of interpretation helps your music out. And you want to gracefully make the notes full. You want to play each note. Just don't finger and blow each note, but you play each note. And of course, the shakuhachi is hard to play because it's hard to trail that out. So do the best you can and have some fun with it. Now I'm going to sing it and tap out the beat. This is the traditional way in a lesson in Japan. Re, 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 ro, tu, ro, re, ro, chi, re, chi, re, re, tu, ro, re, ro. chi, re, re, chi, re, tu, re, ro, re, 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 ro, re, tu, re, tu, he, chi, tu, re, ro, re, 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 ro, tu, ro, re, ro, chi, re, chi, re, tu, re, ro, re. These are songs that have words and they're sung, and we're playing a singing song on the shakuhachi. And so these are children's songs, so try to play them sweetly. This song is an easy song because you don't have to lower your head and there's no merries, so that's easy. And so just worry about the octave changes and let's play along. I'm going to start by playing it and then sing it later. Now I'm going to try something that I wouldn't call this a performance because I don't think it sounds very nice, but I'm going to play this loudly. And it's important when you play to sometimes play loudly because it develops strength in your lungs. And so even though I'm playing these songs gently, because they're children's songs, it's very important to have that power, because when you have muscles in your chest, you have control over playing softly, as well as the ability to play loud. So that's how you develop the strength. And so I'm going to play the same piece much louder. So maybe don't look at it in terms of whether it's pretty or not, but in terms of the energy and the projection. So if you were in a big room, you might have to play it loud like that to reach out to the people far away. Or if you're playing outdoors, and it's a good idea to play outdoors because that way you'll realize how timidly you may be playing, and it's very important to put your energy out there and try to play to the person far away. So that's a good practice as well. Su, re, chi, re, ro, tu, re, ro, re, chi, re, tu, re, tu, re, chi, re, ro, tu, re, chi, re, tu, re, chi. Re, re, ro, re, tu, ro, re, tu, ro, re, ri, tsu, tsu, re, chi, ri, ro, tsu, ri, chi, ri, chi, re, tsu. And to wrap up, I'd just like to say a few words about practice. Try to practice on a regular basis. Of course, if you play every day, even if it's only 15 minutes a day, that's better than playing once in a while or when you're in the mood, because it's good to get a routine and work through a program. Try to work through a whole book or get somewhere and then move on to the next level. So this way you have a direction, and also if you can seek out a teacher, that will help you because there'll be a critical mass of people around you to encourage you. Like I said, encouragement sometimes is hard to find. And also you may sit next to somebody else and realize you're playing quite softly. Maybe you should play louder, and maybe your notes are off and you didn't realize it. So there's a lot you can get from playing with other people. And so start with long tones during your practice session when you're all warmed up, and then start the music lesson. And what I like to do, sometimes if I got a little uptight when I was practicing, I wasn't sure what I was doing, then I took a break and then I just improvised. And it's not for everybody. That definitely works for me. Hope you enjoy the shakuhachi, and remember, be fearless. The shakuhachi needs special care and attention, and it doesn't come easily, but it is really worth it. So thanks a lot.